The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fell to the Cleveland Browns with a final score being 23-17 in overtime. The Cleveland Browns now move on to a 4-7 record. The Buccaneers fall to a 5-6 record. And the Buccaneers are still in first place for the NFC South. That is an important thing to remember here, and I guess is a little bit of a silver lining. But, folks, at the end of the day, this is definitely a game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have won, but inconsistencies with the offense and just poor inefficiency, point blank, is still very consistent with this Buccaneers team. They are consistent in their inconsistencies. Also, just some poor decision making by Todd Bowles' head coach with some time management situations and whatnot were some of the main deciding factors in this very winnable Bucs game that they ended up losing. But congrats to the Cleveland Browns. They are definitely better than what their record indicates. They came into the game with the 14th passing offense, the 5th best rushing offense in the league as well. And they've definitely got some playmakers on defense. I definitely believe that the Browns are better than what their record indicates. But again, still, point being, this was a very winnable game for the Buccaneers, and they did not deliver at the end of the day. And after two very solid wins and a bye week, it seems like the same questions that were plaguing the Buccaneers throughout the early portion of this season are still rearing their ugly head. And it is going to be probably a conversation throughout the remainder of this season. You know, the red zone troubles, the just troubles with putting points up on the board on a consistent basis, decision makings and whatnot from the offensive coaching staff, Todd Bowles' head coach. These are things that are just going to be present throughout the remainder of the season. At least I feel like that is what it is going to be at this point. But kind of breaking into some of the stats, Tom Brady, 29 of 43, 246 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 3 times. And Tom Brady did good, I feel like, in this game. He definitely did have some throws that were crucial in certain situations that he did not make. I remember probably like 3 off the top of my head that you just really wish Tom Brady would have connected with his guys on some of those throws. You know, a couple of those were some wide receiver execution as well. Mike Evans did not have necessarily a good game at all in terms of executing as a wide receiver, and it was a tough thing to see. I know a lot of people are going to point to that one route where Evans was running, essentially a deep route and just didn't lay out for the ball or really go for it or anything. It fell very nearly in front of him. So yeah, just things were definitely kind of off offensively. Brady, his statistics were pretty decent, but there was also a couple of throws that, man, you really wish Brady would have connected on, and he was not able to do so. Rachaad White actually had a pretty decent game, 14 carries for 64 yards, 9 receptions on 9 targets for 45 yards. Rachaad White, I felt, was one of the bright spots in the offense in this game. He definitely showed up and played pretty well. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the workload for White and Leonard Fournette moving forward. I believe Fournette is still dealing with that hip injury that put him out of this matchup, so it may be more White moving forward in the Bucs next week's matchup as well. So pay attention to that. Rachaad White, he looked very good. Chris Godwin, 13 targets, 12 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. This is Chris Godwin's best game of the season so far. He really was able to do some very, very good things. And yeah, he was the star wide receiver today. In this game, I guess I should say, this is being recorded the day after. Julio Jones, 3 catches, 40 yards. Mike Evans, 2 catches, 31 yards. Ko Keith had a touchdown. Going to give him credit for that. 1 catch for 5 yards and a touchdown. So, again, this offense, they can put up some decent stats in certain situations. Chris Godwin had a good game. Rachaad White had a good game. Brady, at least statistically, had a decent job. It's just situational type things that the Buccaneers have not been able to execute this year, and it plagued them yet again in this game, which was extremely, extremely disappointing. I've said it before, I'll say it again, some things got to change, but at this point, how much can you keep on hoping for something like that? But yeah, it's still been disappointing outputs offensively, 17 points, definitely got to do better, although some guys did have some good moments here or there. Defensively, Devin White, 13 total tackles, a half sack, a pass deflection, and a quarterback hit. Devin White, I thought, did okay throughout the game. There was definitely a couple of tackles where he missed and missed very poorly. I don't blame him for the last touchdown that was given up to David Njoku to force overtime. Devin White did good in that situation. It was a one-handed catch by David Njoku. I'm not going to fault Devin White for that. It was just a great play by Njoku. But Devin White did okay. Levante David, a tackle for loss, a very crucial tackle for loss as well late in the game. Unfortunately, it did not matter. Keanu Neal, a half sack, 2 quarterback hits. He actually looked pretty good as a blitzing safety, and the Buccaneers did have a lot of different types of injuries with Antoine Winfield Jr., Mike Edwards. I believe Jamel Dean was hurt for a little bit. D. Delaney basically had to play safety towards the end of the game. So I thought Keanu Neal did a pretty good job as a blitzing safety and just kind of being really one of the last guys standing in terms of starting members of the secondary. Winfield Jr. had a quarterback hit in 7 tackles. Again, he was in and out of the game due to injuries and whatnot. Mike Edwards had a pass deflection, 6 tackles, and an interception. Anthony Nelson had a sack and 2 tackles for loss, as well as a quarterback hit. Raheem Nunez-Roches, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. Carlton Davis, 2 pass deflections. He also got hurt in this game due to a nose injury. Just a lot of secondary members got hurt today, or in this game, folks. It was not pretty to see. A lot of guys getting injured. Carl Nassib, 3 tackles, a half sack, a tackle for loss, and a QB hit. Will Golston had a tackle for loss. Vita Vea had a tackle for loss. Both those players also had a QB hit. Jannard Avery had a QB hit as well. On the day, the Buccaneers and Logan Hall also had a half sack and a quarterback hit. Shout out to the young rookie. At the end of the day, the Buccaneers defense, I thought, did a very good job. They finished with 4 sacks and 11 quarterback hits, as well as 7 tackles for loss and 4 pass deflections. That's a pretty good day by the defense, in my opinion. Again, it kind of comes back to that offensive inefficiency. Also, the defense had an interception. Of course, it didn't necessarily matter because it was a late throw at, I believe, the end of the first half. Point being, though, I think the defense really did a good job. I point, not a lot of it, I guess you can say, falls on the offense in terms of offensive inefficiencies and just poor offensive play in this matchup was one of the biggest deciding factors into why they lost. Ryan Suckup made all of his kicks in this game. Jake Camarda had to punt 9 times. That's pretty telling for an offense as well. Whenever your guy's punting 9 times, the Browns ended up punting 6. So again, I thought the defense did a pretty good job. But here's the big thing. The Browns finished with 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. The Buccaneers had 9 penalties in this game. That's not good. Donovan Smith struggled mightily against Myles Garrett. I mean, mightily. He was getting bodied, and I get it. It's Myles Garrett. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the league, but you're paying Donovan Smith a lot of money. I know that is a tried and true excuse and whatnot, but Donovan Smith's making a lot of money. He's had some good play in certain situations. This was not one of those situations. He got cooked by Myles Garrett, point blank, simple as that. And that was one of those issues with the offensive line. They couldn't pass block that well. They couldn't run block that well in a lot of crucial situations. I keep on saying that because that was a big issue here. Clutch moments, crucial situations. The Buccaneers offense could not deliver in those moments, and it was just very unfortunate. One of the biggest factors to why the Buccaneers lost this game was too cautious coaching decisions. I've got a whole video going to be talking about Todd Bowles. And it was just a tough loss, a very tough loss that felt like a win throughout most of the game. But then in the fourth quarter and in OT, things kind of fell apart offensively, and that was the end of that. So the Bucs, yeah, they're still in first place, but man, oh man, you got to have a lot of questions about this offense right now. Tristan Wirfs went down with an injury as well, by the way. I'll be talking about that in a separate video. Just unfortunate, man. Just really disappointing output by the Bucs in this one. A very winnable game, but at the end of the day, the defense I thought did a decent job. Offense wasn't able to get it done, and it sucks. It's frustrating, and I understand why people would be frustrated with this one. This is pretty much just as frustrating as, that Pittsburgh Steelers game, maybe that Carolina Panthers game as well. The Bucs have just had trouble beating teams like this, and it's just difficult, and the offense needs to improve, I think, is one of the main factors there that could help them moving forward. But folks, what do you think about this game? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. Sorry if I seemed a little bit negative in this review. Like I said, there were some bright spots, but that offense was pretty frustrating. But anyway, guys, goodbye for now. Go Bucs.